Hello, and welcome to another Stat 385 video. This is the welcome video for week 4, and we are going to continue discussions about vectors and subsetting. So here we are going to introduce two new important objects, lists and data frames. Now both of these are going to be what is called generic vectors. So last time we discussed atomic vectors, which are vectors, objects, which are vectors of the same type. Here, generic vectors, both lists and data frames, can consist of elements which are multiple types. Okay, so list is an unstructured generic vector. The elements can be vectors of different types. And here, data frames have a little bit more structure. So, data frames, you can think of a data set, n rows, m columns, or n rows, p columns in statistical terminology. So here, each of the columns itself will be a vector of a specific type, and across columns, the types can change. So this is getting into concepts that would be useful for data analysis, although this is a programming class, not a data analysis course. So, learning objectives. So after completing this week, you will be expected to understand the differences between atomic vectors, lists, and data frames. Kind of covered it a little bit, but of course there's going to be much more detail in the videos. Create and use lists and create and use data frames, remembering that data frames are a specific type of list. Use 3 common subsetting operators with atomic vectors, lists, and data frames. Each one does something slightly different, and each one has its particular use cases, which are important to know and are important not just to know for these lectures, but downstream as well as you continue with R as a programming language. This is something that I use fairly regularly as a programmer, so it's important. Use each of the 6 different types of subsetting allowed in R. Okay, and understanding the difference between preserving and simplifying operations. Very similar to subsetting, more details in the notes and in the videos. Okay, as always, there's some reading material, generic vectors, subsetting from the Atomic R book, as you can see here. Again, go through them, skim them, and see what is going to be covered. I understand that you won't understand everything because you haven't seen the videos, but it's important to see what is coming and try to think about how R is working with these new concepts, and then go watch the videos, generic vectors and subsetting, and then go back, read the content so that you maximally retain what is covered in this week. Lab 3, slightly different than before. It's going to be a demonstration on subsetting, and there'll be details about what your submission is going to be. It won't be too tedious, so you can watch, follow along. Okay, so so we are September 15th to 19th. So last week's content. Lab 2, quiz 2, you can still get full credit on them through this week, plenty of time. Quiz 1, there is still time to get 75%. And I should say with quiz 2, there's still time to get buffer points. So many of you have done it, great work. And if you haven't, there's plenty of time to do it. And now we have lab 3, quiz 3. So due the next Thursday. And so you have this week and next week to build, to get buffer points for quiz 3. So, as you can see, material is churning in, keeps coming in. But if you're on top of it, then you're building up buffer points, which you can spend later in the course when things are a little bit more tedious and your demands are more intense across all your courses. Okay, so same reminder on exams. If you have a conflict, please let me know. Follow the email protocol in the syllabus to send me an email to request that. And we'll cover exams when it's closer to exam time, or cover some content related to exams and the structure for how we're going to do them and stuff like that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for watching this video, and thank you for your participation in the class so far. I think many of you are doing well, and I look forward to seeing you in office hours, in the videos, and on ed. All right, take care.